Hey, we got another Simgot IM. Today it's the EM6L or the Phoenix. Till now, all the Simgot IMs I have tried have been really good and I really liked it. This is to like the other Simgot IM. Uses a small variation of the Harman target curve. So let's find out more about it. Before I start the review, I would like to say a big thanks to Simgot for sending me this review unit. All the thoughts and opinions you're about to hear are my own. So let's talk about the build comfort and accessories before talking about the sound. So the packaging in Simgot fashion is great. Thankfully, like the EA1000, there is no maths over here. It's just a plain simple box with the picture of a phoenix, which looks really nice and classy, nothing much. They come with a 2-pin cable, which is a QDC cable, one pair of generic tips, and a very good case, which I really like. The retail price for this set is around $109, but you can regularly find it around sale for $100. These IMs are built really good, although they're, I think so, resin or plastic. I'm quite not sure as to what they're made of, but they're built really good. Although they're a fingerprint magnet, it does collect fingerprint too much, and it makes them hard to clean. The nozzle, as you can see, let me focus. The nozzle, the nozzle, as you can see, is a tad bit larger than usual, so some might find it too big, so do be careful of that when looking at that. Yeah, as you can see, it's a bit too big in my opinion. The zipper case is quite good and pocketable and can be easily used to carry one or more IM and your dongle and DACs if needed. So that is really good for this case. The tips, although they work okay for me, is a bit weak for me in terms of proper sealing, and hence the base was a bit weak for me. So I'll be using foam tips for my review. Unlike the elder brother EA1000 and the younger brother EW200, these do not have any driver flex, which is really good. And the EM6L comes with 1 DD and 4 BA. So let's talk about the sound. The overall sound signature it follows is the Harman 2019 V2 target curve, but with a bit of variation. We can also call it a V-shaped IM. We'll talk about it more after a few seconds. The overall tonality of the IM is very good despite it having BA drivers. I use the FIO BTR5, the Hibi FC6, the Muse Hi-Fi M4, the Razer USB-C dongle DAC, and my smartphone to test this IM. I do think they pair really well with sort of a neutral source like the Muse Hi-Fi M4 and the FIO BTR5. These surprisingly require a bit of power to drive as they have 28 ohms of impedance. A decent dongle DAC is suggested, at least the Apple dongle. They do perform well if they have more power. So let's talk about the bass. The sub bass of the EM6L is more prominent than the mid bass. The sub bass here follows closely to the Harman 2019 curve. It has some rumble and has good quantity of bass, but what it lacks is that refinement of the bass and the tactility of the bass. The EM6L is more sub-bass focused rather than the mid-bass. The mid-bass could sound a bit muddy. Then again, for the price point, I would say this is a nitpick. For example, when listening to Crack Crack Crackle by Classy or Idle by Yoasobi, the sub-bass, although has good quantity, it lacks a bit of that bite and crispness I would like. The mid-bass too is a bit muddy in my opinion, and it muddles up the entire song a bit, tad bit, not much, especially when there is a lot going on. The instruments do sound good and I can pinpoint them quite easily, like when listening to the 1985 live album by Cassiopeia. They do sound a bit blunt for my taste, again a nitpick for this price and the overall sound signature it tries to gets. The overall bass here is a tad bit better than its younger brother, the EW200. So let's talk about the mids. The overall mids are quite good. The male mids are, as usual, sit behind a bit. Singers like Chris Cornell, Bill Withers' thick voice has very good texture, but they take the back seat a bit. Female vocals here sound really good. When listening to Hako Yamasaki's Ano Yumini, her voice is what I would expect and it sounds very intimidating. But it isn't too overpowering and it does it very nicely. I would say great set for female vocals, especially J-pop. Most IM overdo it over here, but the EM6L does a really good job and it stays well controlled within the region. Treble, the overall treble here is done brilliantly, I would say. For the price, they do have the right amount of air and details without sounding too shrilly. But as usual, if you do increase the volume or there are a lot of things happening in the track, it could be a bit too much for you and the treble really falls apart over here. Although I would say that the treble extension could be a bit better, as in some songs I do find it a bit lacking. But this lack of treble extension could be good for some, as too much treble extension is not too well for some people. So it all depends on your choice as to what type of songs you listen to. So yeah, the treble here is a bit better than the EW200 in my opinion, the overall treble. So let's talk about the technicalities. I would say the overall technicalities is a bit average for the price in my opinion. For the price of $100, this does an okay enough job. It doesn't have the technical prowess like some other IEMs at this price point, which I'll talk about later at the end of the video. The overall soundstage is also quite good for the price. It has an exceptional depth, but the width is okay for the price. So you do get a good depth of soundstage, but the width is not that really good. It's okay, I would say, an average. So the imaging is really good for this price. That is what surprised me over here, and it is very precise. The left to right and vice versa is also very good, and the transitioning from left to right is also really good. So I was surprised as to how good that imaging performs. So now talking about the soundstage and imaging, the gaming performance of the EM6L is also really good too. It performs really well when playing in FPS games, and I can feel the environment around me decently well, and the left and right of the footsteps is really awesome. And what I do find is that the movement of footsteps from left to right is quite accurate and surprising as to how well this performs. The width of the left and right is a bit cramped though, and could be a bit of an issue. If you use third-party cables with the boom mics like the Celeste Rui or anything like that, this makes a decent or a great gaming IM for around the price of $100. So comparison and recommendation versus the Geek World GK20, the EM6L is a more fun-sounding IM. The GK20 is a technical beast at the under $100 price point. The bass on the GK20, although less in quantity, is of better quality, I would say. But the overall quantity of bass is great in EM6L. The soundstage of EM6L is superior than the GK20 in my opinion. Versus the younger brother EW200. The EW200 is such a fantastic IM that I see no point in upgrade to the EM6L. That doesn't mean there is no gap between them. The EM6L has more bass, but the quality of the bass is better in my opinion in the EW200, even though the quantity is quite less. The soundstage is wider in the EW200, but the soundstage is much deeper in the EM6L. In my opinion, if you have the EW200, stick with it, and if you want more bass for the EW200, then use foam tips. I don't see a point of upgrading the EW200 from the EW200 to the EM6L. I would say that if you want to upgrade from the EW200, rather skip this and go to the EA1000. I know it's double the money of this, but it's worth it. Yeah, and comparing the EM6L to the elder brother EA1000, the EA1000 is a lot better in every aspect and beats the EM6L in every place. It's a clear upgrade. In my personal opinion, if you have the EW200, as I said, rather than upgrading to EM6L, skip this and go to the EA1000, because I do not think that that extra money from EW200 to EM6L is worth it, but the extra money from EW200 to EA1000 is really worth it. I mean, it works really well. So yeah, that was my review of the EM6L. I think so it's a great IM, especially for the gaming crowd. I think so the upgrade path of Simgot as of this review is pretty good. The EM6L as it in its own makes a good purchase for the price of $100, but its younger brother EW200 is so good that I don't see it makes sense from upgrading from the EW200 to EM6L. So yeah, that was my review of the Simgot EM6L. If you like my video, please do like it. Please do subscribe to my channel, it helps out a lot. And 93% or 94% of the people watching this video aren't subscribed to my channel. So I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to my channel. That would mean a lot. That's a great way of supporting me. And I'm really trying to get to 500 subs as soon as possible. That would really help me out a lot. So yeah, if you do like it, you can like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this, you can ask me in the comment section down below. Yeah, that's my review. And I hope you have a good day. Bye bye.